A lot of criticism, once again, of Conservatives today. Let's start with this notion of the Lords. The Lords are weaponising, once again, Lord Goldsmith, Labour, teaming up with some Liberal Democrats, and it has to be said in today's press, some One Nation Conservatives trying to derail Rwanda just like they did Brexit.
You know, we don't have a majority in the House of Lords, Martin, and we have to remember that the House of Lords, they're unelected. I'm pretty sure that if they were elected in places like Ashfield, they'd be saying something slightly different today. Yeah. Look, they've got a job to do. Their job is to scrutinise legislation, try and amend it where possible. But at the end of the day, you know, it's up to Parliament to make that decision. I hope when it does... It's funny that we're talking about this now, actually, because last week all the talk was about scrapping the bill, and now the same sort of people are talking about Lords, leave us alone, let's get the bill through. So let's hope they don't mess about with it too much over the next few weeks. I suspect they probably will. A lot of do-gooders in there. I noticed the church were piping on this morning, and I will say... to the church and the Archbishop of Canterbury while I'm on here, he's got a big place just across the road, Martin. I walk past that every day. I think it's called Lambeth Palace. It's got hundreds of empty rooms. We're struggling for accommodation at the moment. Put them in there. Yeah, it's a novel solution, Lee, and one I think would find curry a lot of favour in GB Newsland at least. Let's talk about, to both of you gentlemen, about this story that broke at the weekend, which I know got you going before we came on air. About 16,000 of those who came to the country, including some illegally, have been granted the right to work in care homes, in agriculture, in construction. It's got a lot of people very, very angry. A lot of people threatened to tear up the Conservative Party membership over it, Lee. Well, let's just be honest for 1 minute. I mean, I'm not happy about illegal migrants working in this country. I think it adds to the pull factor, but this has been around for a while, this scheme. If an illegal migrant or an asylum seeker, should we say, masquerading as asylum seekers, decide to make a claim, and if that claim goes over 12 months and it's not their fault, then they can apply for permission to work in a sector where we've got shortages. So it's nothing new, but it's been blown out in the press this morning, and you know, people are very angry about it. I'm not happy about it. I don't think anybody who arrives here illegally should be given permission to work. I think we should be swiftly removed. Ivan Sampson, presumably you disagree with Lee Anderson on that. You think that asylum seekers should have the right to work? Well, the language is important, first of all. Lee said these people are masquerading as asylum seekers. So if you look at the actual facts and the figures, the majority of people coming across on the boats are granted refugee status. Fact. Why don't they claim refugee status in France? If it's a safe country. That's another issue, but I was it's not just the same issue. Correcting what you were saying. These people are masquerading as asylum seekers. They are not genuine asylum seekers. If you've passed through 6 safe countries to get to this country, I'm sorry, you are not a genuine asylum seeker. You would stop in the first country of refuge and claim asylum there. It's making a mockery of our system, Martin. The Home Office grants them asylum, and they apply the Refugee Convention, Lee, which is the law. Yeah. Regarding the right to work, many countries do the same. The US, for example, allows refugees to work from day one. Why don't they stop in France? I can't answer that question. I can only tell you... I can answer it. It's because they're not genuine asylum seekers. France is not at war. They're not being persecuted in France. France is a safe country. France is a welcoming country. You know, we keep hearing people bleating on that France accept more than this country. Why don't they stop in France? With due respect, you're talking nonsense, because the law says they're refugee status. Okay, so that's the law. So unless you quote me a law which says they're not, then I can answer you. But well, I'll quote you something else then. I went to Calais last year and I spoke to the migrants in the camp, the young men from Eritrea and Sudan, and the first thing they said to me was, El Dorado, we're going to that country for the money. They weren't fleeing persecution. Oh, I was there. I listened to these people talk to me and the rest of the Home Affairs Select Committee. They was coming for economic reasons, nothing to do with being persecuted in their own country. That's just bluster and anecdotal. It's not. I was there. Let me tell you about the Refugee Convention. You don't have to claim asylum in the first country. No, I never said you did. No, but you're suggesting why didn't they? Well, what I'm suggesting is that if you're genuinely fleeing persecution, then you will stop in the first safe country. You would not risk your life on a small boat, risk death in that channel, the most dangerous shipping lane in the world, if you were a genuine asylum seeker. You would not do that. Let me give you an example of someone who would do that. Okay. They've got family here. The biggest pull factor of refugees coming to the UK is they know people here. That is how they even funded to come here. So family members will send money to those refugees to allow them to come here. So, with due respect, they're not going to claim asylum in Germany or France or Italy or anywhere else. Why not? Because they've got family here. Well, if they claim asylum in France, their family can go to them. Yeah. Surely. OK. Regarding right to work, let's talk about that. Yes. Look, it's always been around.
The reason the government didn't allow right to work from day one, because it bolsters your Article 8 claim. Because if you're working, then you have a stronger Article 8 claim on the basis of private life, that you're working. And so if the Home Office take years to decide your claim, you can say, well, actually, I've been working here for many years. I now have a private life in the UK. That's the reason there was a 12-month moratorium.
So presumably, because of inefficiencies, maybe just the sheer volume of those arriving, there's an inability to process those claims. So once that 12 months mark is over, woof, they're away, they're free to work.
Absolutely.
And that's a failing of the entire system.
It is. And look, on £5.70 a day, which is what refugees get, you don't get a lot for that. So I think it's right they should be given.
But they have a choice whether or not to come to this country. They have a clear choice. They can stop in Spain, France, Belgium, Switzerland, Italy. They can stop in any of those countries.
We have a choice to be members of the Refugee Convention or not. You don't want to be a member.
Don't you start pointing at me. Listen, these people, they come here on their own free will. They are not genuine asylum seekers.
That's your view.
There. You can see them on the screen there. They're not genuine asylum seekers.
You don't like the refugee
economic migrants.
You don't like the refugees. It's quite clear, and it's clear to me and the viewers.
Listen,
fine, vote out of it.
I live in the real world, and I've worked in the real world, probably unlike you, and I used to work down the pit with the sons and grandsons of genuine displaced people who came from places like Latvia and Estonia after the Second World War. These were genuine asylum seekers. They could not go home, or they faced certain death. These were the genuine asylum seekers that this country that rescued, basically, after the war, and we welcomed them, and I'm proud that we've done that. So don't talk your nonsense with me.